Alright, this is your Head Start lesson on buying and selling shares. This is one of the more common bits of maths that you do over and over again for the shares topic, as your general maths students in this class would attest to in their exam. You probably did 3 or 4 of these calculations all the way throughout. So what is a share for people who aren't aware? Shares are a piece of ownership in a public company. You can trade these shares with other people or hold on to them so you can be paid dividends of a company's profits. The most commonly used calculations in this topic are buying and selling calculations. So, those calculations have the same 3 parts. The first is the consideration. This is what the shares are worth that you're buying or selling. What is it? The consideration is the number of shares you're buying or selling times by the buying or selling price. So a multiplication. What is the brokerage? You cannot go to the shop and buy shares yourself. You need someone to do it. In the old days, it would have been a stockbroker. Currently, it's an app. So the app that I use is called Self-Wealth, and they charge like $9.50 for any brokerage. It's a fee that you need to pay to be able to buy shares because you can't buy them yourself, okay? And it's either going to be a flat fee, so literally, I don't know, $9.50, just dollars, or it's a percentage of the consideration, okay? So you want to hope it's the flat fee because that's easier, but sometimes it's a percentage of consideration, so you need to do some maths. Let's do some maths right now. How do I make a percentage into a decimal? Because I can't use percentages to do maths. Yes? Good. So for example, what is 1/2? What is 1/2 as a percentage?
50%.
Good. Equals 50%, which is equal to 0.5. How did I do that? Where's the decimal in 50? The decimal in 50 is here. So if it's gone to there, how many times did it jump to the left? It jumps twice. How do you jump the decimal point twice in our number system in the West? You divide by 100. So when we do a question that says, okay, what is 2%? What would that be as a decimal? Well, how much would I need to jump the decimal point to the left? Twice. So it would be 0.02. Okay? So that's how you deal with percentages. Do not use the percent button on your calculators. They all do different things. Always convert your percentage to a decimal. So that's brokerage. The last thing is GST in Australia. GST is called the Goods and Services Tax. In Australia, it's currently 10%, which is where this 0.1 comes from. Because what would 10% be as a decimal if I jumped it twice to the left? 0.1, which is what it is in the formula. Okay? So probably on your cheat sheet, if you are doing the subject next year, that is what would go onto the cheat sheet. And then these 2 things. If you're doing a buying calculation, you add up all 3 of those things, and that will tell you the total cost of buying those shares. But if you're selling the shares, you must subtract the brokerage and GST from the consideration. So can you see here, I've got the consideration again, but I took away the brokerage and I took away the GST. Okay? So that's why I tend to teach these 2 things in the one lesson, because they're literally the same thing. One of them's adding, one of them's taking, okay? So normally, because I'm recording a video, I'll move this to the side because I want to do the example all in one go. But normally in the lesson, I'd give you like five minutes or so to get the notes down that you need. That won't happen today. I need the video to be smooth. Let's do an example. You can refer to those boards while this is up. So let's do an example. 1,000 shares in company A are bought for $1.50 each. Assuming brokerage is 2%, so it's a percentage brokerage. What's the total cost of buying these shares? What are the 3 different parts of a buying calculation? 1, consideration. What is the consideration here? The number of shares times by the buying price. So how many shares are being bought in example 1? 1,000 times by the buying price. What are you buying them for? $1.50. 1.50. So what's the consideration going to be? $1,500. Okay? You can use a calculator for that. You got a calculator for this test. Brokerage. Brokerage is 2%. So I need to do that weird decimal stuff that I was going on about. What's 2% as a decimal? Yes, I need to find 0.02 of 1500 because this broker, whoever it is charging a percentage of whatever I'm trying to buy. So I need a calculator for that. 0.02 times by 1500. So I need to pay a guy or an app $30 to buy these $1,500 worth of shares. And then GST. What's GST in Australia? What percentage? 10%. 10%. So it's going to be 0.1 times by 30. I saw some people in my tests and the other class as well finding 10% of this. You're not being charged 10. The government is not taking 10% of all of your money. They're taking 10% of what the broker charged. Okay? So 0.1 times by 30, which is going to be, what's a tenth of 30? $3. So as you can see, that's why we added. I was trying to buy $1,500 worth of shares, but can I buy them myself?
No.
I have to pay a guy to do it, and then I have to pay a government a little bit on top. So what's the total cost of buying all these shares, all three things added together? Okay? So total cost to buy is going to be 1,533. So as you can see, notes, example. I'm going to do a selling example, but then after that, you would be practicing. And so today, I'll give you until 12 o'clock to practice, so that we can practice what happens in a double lesson when I teach something. Give you time to practice, and then I get your attention back to teach something else. Okay? All right, next one. I'll keep this over here. Let's practice selling. 1,000 shares in company A are sold for $2 each. Brokerage is a flat fee of $35 now, so it's not a percentage. Find the total return from selling these shares. So, when doing selling calculation, is there any difference to this?
No.
It's the same stuff. What am I doing different? Subtracting instead. So cons, proc, GST, but I'm going to minus them. So remind myself. How many shares am I selling this time? 1,000, still the same. 1,000 times by. What am I selling them for?
$2.
2. So I should be getting $2,000. That's what I should be making $2,000 on this transaction. But can I do that myself? I need someone to do it for me. What's that person charging? Is that person charging, or is that app or person charging a percentage, or are they charging a straight number?
Straight
A
number.
flat fee, 35. So I can literally just drag that over 35. I'm taking 35. And GST is 10%, 0.1 times by 35. So take away $3.50. So the total return from selling, I should have got $2,000, but can I do that myself? No? So $35 of that money is taken away, and also $3.50 is taken away. So I use my calculator. $2,000, nope, not 20,000. Whoa, 2,000. Take 35. Take 3.5. So you can see, I'm not getting as much as I thought I was going to get because I can't do it myself, and the government takes a cut. That's why it's less. $1,961.50 total return from stock. That's a good portion of your DI and first test in shares next year. Okay? I'll stop the video there.